What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J. We are locked in. This is episode 8 of Cruel Summer. Now, we know last week we seen Kate actually packed her stuff up and she went over to Martin's house because she thought that was a safe space. I really don't agree with these adults hanging with these kids like this, but we know Martin is a creep. Before we get into today's episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you'll be a part of this. Hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit the like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, we know Kate is locked up. We know that Martin was using food to hold it against her. Now we need to figure out what's really going on. And the name of this episode is Proof. So we need the proof because we have the transcripts from Ashley's conversations on the computer with Kate. So let's jump into it. This is episode 8. The events that are about to unfold take place on approximately August 30th, 1993, 1994, and 1995. Y'all know how we start off each episode. It's 1994. Oh, Jeanette's dad is furious. Now, you know, the mom was trying to tell him, hey, our daughter has this key over there. He didn't believe it till he went over there for himself. So he's showing Jeanette the key. What are you doing with this key? She's like, I stole it, but we only used it once. We only used that key once and played hide and go seek. Now, we know that they played hide and go seek. That was the first time. But she's been lying this whole time. She's been using it and using it and using it. So her dad is trying to say, hey, this is one of the reasons your mom left. Now we know why the mom left, because he was protecting Jeanette, but it turned out Jeanette was lying the whole time. And he's trying to get things straight because he knows if the cops find out, if Mallory or Vincent says something, it's going to look bad. So he tells her, you're going to tell the cops that you had this key and you went over there, because he wants to at least clear it up and let it be known. Yes, she was over there once, but she wasn't going over there more than that, even though we know Jeanette has. Back in 93 when everything was good, guess what? Jeanette got the braces taken off. Dad looking at her like, oh, you look so beautiful. She like, Dad, you gotta say that. He's like, even if I do, I mean it. But they start asking, hey, Derek, you need to get up. You're gonna be late. And Jeanette says, man, he might be upstairs asleep still. We might have the smoking gun here. We have a transcript of Kate saying that she went over to Martin's house willingly. And now Jeanette's lawyer is saying that's not the story that she's painting. She's making it seem like she was innocent and she was just kidnapped. And Jeanette says, nah, that's one thing about Kate. She's going to always try to look like a princess, the innocent one. But this here shows, and it's proof, the name of the episode. This here is our proof that she went over there. So even if she thinks that I've seen her, she's lying about that because we have proof that she went over there on her own. Ha ha. We got the crew together in 94. They pulling up to the school and it looks like Vince, he took up some photography. He got a little hobby now. And she like, hey, stop taking those pictures. And she's just stalling to get out the car. And Vince is a good friend. We know one thing about Vince. He's going to hold Jeanette down regardless. And Mallory may have ran off and did her own thing. But Vince, he's going to always have Jeanette's back because we know he actually liked her. It just never panned out. And then it seems like he may be gay now. But they're sitting in the car and he brings up, man, I can't believe your mom didn't take the minivan with her. And Jeanette, she's kind of down and out like, man, she didn't take a lot of things with her. I guess she means herself. We got our football star in here, Bean. He coming in, dapping everybody up. Look at Jamie in the back. Like, he dapping everybody up. All the girls are like, ooh, Ben might be scoring on and off the field. Now, all the girls are looking at him. But he ain't looking at none of them. He looking through everybody. Who he looking at? Who's that? Is Vincent over there? And Vincent sitting there looking at him. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. But this is the 90s in Texas, and being openly gay is very, very dangerous. Jeanette got the braces off, and you see the minivan. The mom's in the minivan. And you could tell they have a very close relationship. So that's one reason she was like, well, she didn't take everything with her. Because she wished she would have went with her mom. Because they had that close bond. And you know her mom was always bigging her up. Like, oh, you're beautiful. I was once famous in school. I won't say famous. I was popular in school. So you would be the same way. Mallory calls out Jeanette saying, dang, you still got on Kate's scrunchie? Like, man, that's kind of weird. She's like, I'm going to give it back to her. It's just a reminder. She said, man, we seen her at the movies. We seen her at the mall. We don't just run into her on an everyday basis. You need to give her that back. And Jeanette's like, she puts it in her purse. Does she want to be Kate? And guess who comes out and greets the kids? Good old Martin. And what do we see from Jeanette? She sees him. Now, you remember she got the scrunchies from him. She's been breaking into his house. So when he says, hey, hope you guys enjoy school this year, she looks, So maybe she wanted to do what Kate was doing with Martin, but Kate got there first. That could be a twist, people. Jeanette sits down with her mom, Sydney. Now, people were like, it's Sydney with a C. I know it's Sydney. That's just how I say Sydney. But they're sitting down and they're talking to each other. And she's like, you went to Paris? You ran away from us and did all this? And her mom's like, nah, well, I went over there for work. You ain't go over there for no work. You left because of the whole situation that was going on. And now Jeanette's saying, yeah, I'm about to go back and get my GED. And her mom's like, I heard you didn't finish school or whatever. And she's like, yeah, well, you would hear a lot of things if you were here and you didn't actually abandon your family. So now they have this disconnect. We just seen in 93 how close they were. We seen in 94, she was asking, is my mom going to come back? Now she's like, hey, you're Sydney. You're not mom to me. Now mom, she's trying to tell her, look, this lawsuit, you're trying to sue a kidnapping victim. It's not going to end well. You're not going to win this case. It's just going to look bad on you. But we know more than what the mom knows. So that's why she's saying, my dad, he isn't perfect, so you can't talk bad on him. You left us, but at least he stayed around. So she gets up and she takes the little gift that she has. And you know, the mom, she's down and out because this is her daughter still. And she did really, I don't think a parent should leave because of something like that. You're supposed to support your child, but she just said, the hell with that. I'm going to Paris, or should I say Paris. Guess where our homeboy's trying to get a job at? The bar. But guess what? If you have a record, you can't be serving liquor and you can't be around the money. So unfortunately, we can't hire you, brother. Now the cool kids, they're sitting out and they're talking about Kate. Kate's about to be on this Marsha show. Oh my gosh, she's so lucky. She's about to get fame. Everybody's like, I don't think she's lucky for that. She was just kidnapped. Now the girl, Tennille, she's like, hey Ben, you want to go to the movies this weekend? And he was like, oh, with the girls? We know he's kind of feeling Vince, and he's like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. And then we see Jeanette walk by, and they look at her and they say, what are you doing, creep? And Jeanette looks at them. She got the hell up out of there because they called her a creep, scary ass Jeanette. Jeanette's walking back to her Pimp My Ride minivan, and when she goes back, she starts to speed walk because who does she see? She sees a reporter. He comes out with the camera. You know, with a case like this going on, there's going to be reporters everywhere because they just want to get photos of this. They want to make a story out of nothing. Oh, we seen Jeanette owner over here shopping like nothing was going on. At the same time, Jamie's like, hey, are you okay? Can you come by the shop and talk to me later? She's like, look, I can't be around here because the paparazzi, the reporters, if one of them sees me, then there's going to be more. So she has to shake the spot ASAP. The last item of the list, the prank tape. Now, this prank tape, we have to make it to the AV room. If you don't know what the AV room is, the audio video room. Now, if your school has some money, then you would have an AV room. My school, we didn't have money. We had 3 carts with a TV on it that was chained to it in the library. You had to go rent them. But with this, they want to put this tape in there, but we need lookouts. Now, Mallory, she's like, hey, I'm in charge. Y'all gonna be lookouts. Jeanette says, okay, well, I gotta go talk to Mr. Wallis. And look at Vince, he's just like, shit, let's get it complete then. Jamie's asking the cool kids, hey, have y'all seen Kate? And they're like, nah, why? Trouble in paradise? She's like, nah, don't worry about it, I'll find her. When he gets up, Jeanette actually didn't go do what she was supposed to do. She sat down so she can try to get a chance to talk to Jamie. And when he walks by, he looks at her. Hey, Jailbird, you remember, they were both in the little police holding station at the mall that day. I told y'all, Vince, he steps up for Jeanette no matter what. Now, he's talking to Jeanette and she's like, I gotta go because people were bullying her at school. Now, he turns around and he sees Jamie over there watching. And he goes up like, man, what are you doing? Creeping on her, watching her? And Jamie's like, nah, I'm just checking on her because, you know, people are making fun of her. But Vince makes a valid point. The only reason they're doing this is because of you. You can't make sure she's good. The reason people are making fun of her is because you punched her and gave her a black eye. So everyone was like, ha, 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 look at Jeanette. They follow you. You the cool kid. You know, we're just regular kids. You the cool kid. So if they see you do some ignorant stuff, they gonna think it's cool. So they follow behind you. But Vince said, nah, we done with that. Leave her alone. And then he walks off. And Jamie's like, man, I ain't know Vince was mean like that. We see Jamie and we know Jamie has a drinking problem. We know in 95 he was towed up at the carnival. We know he's just always drinking. We know actually in 93 when he was drinking on Kate's birthday, he was towed up then. Now we see him sit in the car. He's listening to something on a little recorder. And what does he do? He opens up the glove department, the glove box, takes a hit of that flask, and he's just sitting there. Somebody needs to get him off school property. All right, y'all, it's time to get this prank going. We get to the AV room. Now, we got to come up with a plan. We're going to need about 15 minutes. Vince is saying we need to get in and out. Now, Mallory's like, nah, that ain't what we got to do. Listen, I'm going to run this. Y'all listen to what I say. One of y'all go on that end, one of y'all go on that end, and y'all stall for me. We can't be in and out because the prank is during class hours. Right now, this is lunch, so we're going to have to wait a little bit. Jeanette says, who died and made you captain? She's like, well, a lot of people did. So we see that she wants to be in control of everything. So that may be one reason that her and Jeanette fell out. She doesn't like Jeanette because she wants to be in charge and control things. Vince is supposed to be keeping watch out, and Ben comes down the hall and he gets distracted. He's just lost of words. So Ben walks by. He's like, hey, your mom died. Mine did too. It'll be a couple years this fall. You want to talk about it sometime? We have that in common. He's like, all right. So they go in the gym and they both give their stories. Now, Ben, he knew that his mother was going to pass. She had cancer. And also with Vince, he was thinking about his mom and how things went wrong. And he remembers the last thing he asked her for. While this whole conversation is going on, it's a tough conversation, especially talking about your mom. When you don't have anyone else to talk to, and this is your first time having a real conversation with somebody, it's definitely going to be awkward. But they understand where it's coming from. We know that there's the law of attraction? Vince asked him, what's one of the things you chickened out about? And it went from talking to interlocking fingers like a pinky promise or something. But hey, man, these two dudes, they into each other. We're going to see where it goes from here. Of course, when we see Jamie, he got a damn beer in his hand. He always drinking now. But Jeanette shows up. She wants to hear what he has to say. And he's like, man, I'm glad you could make it over here. She's like, I'm not trying to hear all that. Why would you call me over here after you called me a B and punched me? He's like, I'm sorry, I regret all that, but I thought I was defending Kate. Because at that time, we know Jamie. He never knows which side he wants to be on. He thought Kate was back. Oh, let me go back to Kate. Oh, but it's Jamie. A little beer. It ain't no telling whose side he's on. But he says he tried to defend Kate. And now she's saying, well, you knew me. So why wouldn't you believe me when I was trying to talk to you? He's like, I'm sorry. So she asked him, and she's pretty much saying, you need to make a decision now. Who do you believe? Damn. We got Pops on the phone over here talking to Sydney. Like, if she had the key, we're going to go to the police with this. And we don't know what she's saying on the line, but he gets frustrated. He starts slamming the phone. Like, if you don't want to come back, then don't come back then. Pow, pow, pow. Jeanette comes in. He's like, what are you doing? You supposed to be at school. She's like, I'm not going back. He said, what? She said, I want to be a high school dropout. He's like, who are you? I don't even know who you are anymore. She said, I want to go live up under a rock now. He's like, oh, hell no. We about to go to this police station. You about to tell these folk what we know. We about to tell them about this key. And she's sitting there because she knows when that stern voice comes, it's no talking back. We got to hop in this car and go to the police station. Jeanette's in the hall and she's keeping a lookout, but you hear some heels coming down the hallway. And I know ain't nobody wearing heels in high school, so she hides behind the wall. And guess who she sees? Uh-oh, it's Kate's mama. But what's Kate's mama doing here? And she walks right into Martin's office and says, do you know where my daughter is? And he looks up. Now, my thing is, they must have a very, very close relationship, him and Kate, that the mom knows to come directly to the school and talk to him. Now, we know that Kate said you molded me for him. So it does kind of look like the mom was pawning her daughter off to Martin. I don't know, man. This is some weird stuff here, but that's what it's really looking like. Because she knew to come directly to Martin and ask, not call the police or something, not, as the dad, but go to the school and talk to the assistant principal. The reason Joy came to Martin is because she wants to keep things low key, and she tells him, you know how our family operates. Shh, on the hush. We don't want people finding out about this. So he goes along with it, and he calls the secretary. Hey, run over the absences. Okay, Caleb and Kate. So he tells her that Kate is missing. Now, we know Kate ran away last night, so he has to cover his tracks. And he's saying, well, if she's following a play out of your old playbook, then I'm sure she's safe. She's just at a friend's house. But Joy says missing school, that's taking it to another level. So now we got Martin. He's like, uh-oh, I wouldn't expect her not to miss school a couple of times. So now it's looking bad because even if she is mad, she would still show up to school. So what he tells her is, do not involve the police. She's been gone for a night. But if you call the police, it's going to look like negligence on the parent. And we know that's not what's going on. You guys are a good family. What he's trying to do is make Joy feel comfortable and relax. Like, hey, I'm going to help you guys do what you need to do to find her. Because if you involve the police, that's going to get his cover blown and it's going to make the parents look bad. But it really wouldn't make the parents look bad because it's just a kid that ran away. So that would have been the best opportunity in the best time to notify the police within the first 48 hours. But he's saying just keep this low key because you don't want this getting out, spreading like wildfire. She's like, see, that's why I came to you, because you know what you're doing. The only thing they didn't know is Jeanette is sitting right outside of it. And she's like, holy smokes, Kate, you're missing. Oh man, this is getting interesting, because now it's making me think she's going to use this key and go and see, just check and just give it a look, just a little look. I don't know, man. This is getting interesting now. Jeanette sees Joy and she starts running after her. She catches her outside, but before she goes outside, she sees the AV room and she looks up at it. She's supposed to be keeping watch, but she leaves. Now, what I'm thinking is going to happen with that is maybe Mallory's going to get busted or something. But she goes outside and she's like, hey, Miss Wallis, I'm Jeanette Turner and I'm Kate's friend. And Joy's like, no, you're not. She's like, I'm a new friend. So if you need anything, just let me know. She looks at Jeanette and she says, what would I ever need from you? She said it in a mean way, but at the same time, as you're a kid, I would never need anything from you. But Jeanette has a little grin like, we see Greg at the bar and he's macking on Angela. He's like, hey, yo, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just getting me a little drink. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. I know. Times is hard. Pop, pop. Pops that little beer open for him. He's sitting there chugging a cold one. And in comes Rod Wallis. And he's like, hey, can I get some quarters for the meter? And he sees Greg. And they look at each other because they have a little beef because of their daughters. They don't say nothing to each other. But Angela's like, is everything all right? He's like, yeah, everything's all right. Let me get some more of them quarters. Greg played it like a G, though. He drank his beer like, if you're going to do something, do something. But I'm going to hit you with this bottle. You come to me because you a big mother. Woo. And you was in the NFL. Up in 95, we got Greg sitting in there, and Angela comes over like, you weren't truthful with me. You didn't tell me that Jeanette had a key to the house. And he's like, hey, I've been an open book. I've told you everything. Now, we went to the police station. I told the police that we had a key. She went and played hide and go seek. She stole it from my job. But that was 2 years ago when she was younger. But now Angela brings up, you told me that your wife left you. He's like, she did leave me. And Angela says, no, she said she wanted space. Well, if she leaves the house and goes to Paris, she leaving him that space, and she left. She left the house. She's been living in Paris. She left him. So Angela, you need to chill out. But she's saying, I shouldn't come in the way of two people that need to be married. And he's trying to explain, hey, we had kids together. We were married. She left. But that's all it is. And she's like, oh, well, I'm just making sure because I like you. And he's like, I like you too. And they get to kissing. But yes, she left him. If she wanted space, okay, you move down the street. You move a block away. You go to Paris. Yeah, you left. Just as I expected. Jeanette's outside. She didn't keep lookout. It's lunchtime. Lunch is over. Time to put this tape in. Now, this tape is a prank of you got a teacher walking around with toilet paper on her feet. And now, guess who comes in? Assistant Principal Martin. Now, if we would have had somebody looking out, we would have known better. But he's like, what are you doing in here? She's like, oh, I'm on the AV. He said, nah, AV's in the morning. What is that? And then what we see is footage of Martin leaving his house in the morning. So now he's getting irate because he's like, in his mind, oh my God, I got that girl in my house and they got something on tape. Give me that tape. And he gives Mallory detention. So I think this is exactly why Mallory and Jeanette fell off with each other. Bear with me, people. I'm going to try to get my white girl angry on. What the actual hell, people? Where were you guys at? I got a detention. Martin Harris came in and Vince is like, man, look, such and such came. I had to scramble. So she looks over at Jeanette. She's like, what is your excuse? And Jeanette's like, Kate Wallis. And they're like, forget Kate Wallis. She's out of your league. Jeanette finally sticks up for herself. So Mallory is trying to be the leader and go in and be mad. But she says, nah. We may have abandoned you on this, but what's your excuse? When we were shoplifting, where did you go? I took the charge for Vince. Where were you at? Mallory's like, yeah, that's a good thing. Jeanette's telling her straight up, I'm tired of getting bossed around by you. You're not the leader. We are all equals. There's no leader in our group. It's just all three of us. So why do you act like this towards us? These three knuckleheads are in the middle of the hallway and everybody's looking like, man, what is this uncool kid group over here talking about? It's a weird group of people. But they're over here arguing and Jeanette's like, my mom was right. Friends go apart. So Mallory says, what, you don't want to be our friends no more? Jeanette looks at her and I ain't say nothing about Vincent. And that just makes Mallory upset and she kind of, you didn't want to be friends with me. I can't boss nobody around no more. Oh my goodness, kids are funny. We see Ben hop into Jamie's car, but we know Jamie has been drinking. While Jamie's talking to Jeanette about why he feels the way he does, he's telling her, look, I was driving to come see you and talk to you, but I had been drinking. And while they were drinking, they end up getting in a car wreck, and he actually ends being the football player's future, man. So we know time and time we've seen this guy Jamie just drink. People, do not drink and drive. Always put your seatbelt on. And this is why Jamie has a record. Drinking and driving, getting in the car wreck, probably speeding. Oh man, you throw your life away, kids. Do not drink and drive, please. They got Ben on the stretcher. He got blood all on his shoulder. He probably tore his rotator cuff, all kinds of stuff, dislocated his shoulder. But we know that he had that open heart-to-heart about his mom with Vince, and Vince runs over there and he's like, are you okay? He's like, I'm not for sure yet. So Vince grabs his hand to comfort him, but Ben's looking around and everybody's looking and he snatches his hand away, because I told you back in the 90s, very dangerous being openly gay. So Ben doesn't want anybody to know that he has feelings for another man. So he snatches his hand away and he's like, nah, I don't think you should come with me on this ride, because he doesn't want anybody to see him and Vince together. So he rides off in the ambulance by himself and Vince is just there looking at the ambulance drive off. So Jeanette's saying, see, I even added more trouble to everything that's going on. He's like, nah, this isn't your fault. I mean, I was driving to see you, but you didn't have anything to do with it. It was because of my drinking. And he says when he goes to sleep, he'll wake up and he doesn't remember any of it. But the moment he does, it just ruins his whole day. Now, Jeanette, she's in there and she's listening to all this, but she looks over and asks her, hey, what's that tape recorder for? But we don't get an answer. The moment we all been waiting on. So Jamie comes outside and he sees Jeanette. He's like, oh, you got your braces off. That's the best day ever. I remember getting mine off. She like, you had braces? Like, yeah. So for her, she's just excited that she's actually being noticed. Now listen to this, people, because you all wanted to know. When did she tell Jamie that Kate was missing? So he asked her, is everything all right? She like, yeah, well, I heard Kate is missing. He's like, yeah, she wasn't in school today. He's like, how you know she's missing? Oh, I heard Joy talking to Martin and reported her missing. So I just wanted to let you know, to give you a heads up, because normally they look at the boyfriend first. So he's like, what? Let me get up out of here. So Jeanette did tell Jamie that Kate was missing. This fills in why he punched her, because he was like, you told me this. You were the first person to know. And everyone's like, when did he tell her? I mean, when did she tell him this? This is when she told him. August 30th, 1993. Christmas Eve, after Kate was missing, Jamie said he got a message and he recorded it, because this is the tape. And on this message, you hear "Till Death Do Us Part" and you hear heavily breathing on it. So Jeanette's like, what is that? But she must know something, because she's like, I gotta leave. So he's been listening to this over and over and over, but this just triggered something in Jeanette's head. Skirt! I'm talking about Jeanette left Jamie's house so fast in that minivan, got over to Mallory's house. Bow, 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 bow. Hey, I need that snow globe right now. And Mallory's like, what? Why would I have that old thing? She says, look, I don't like asking you favors, and I wish I never had to ask you a favor, but I need that. Mallory says, I don't have that piece of junk, and even if I did, why would I give it to you? So Jeanette, there's something with that snow globe is making some kind of noise that she needs. But Mallory, she's like, I'm not helping you. I ain't got nothing. But it turns out Mallory does have it. It was in a box up under her bed. So she pulls it out and she starts looking at it. Very, very interesting. We got another clue, people. Listen and listen carefully. We have Martin and we have the tape. This is August of 1993 that they were using for the prank. Now he's watching. He wants to see what's actually on this tape. But watch what I'm about to show you guys and look very, very closely. What do we see here in the window? Miss Kate Wallis. So he has to destroy this tape because Kate is sitting there while he's going to work. She's sitting in the house chilling. Oh my goodness. Now, if they got another copy of this, you know Martin's going to have to do everything he can to get that. There you go. Episode 8 of Cruel Summer. All of the dots are starting to link. Bing, bing, bing. We getting clues from here. We getting clues from there. If these kids seen this or they have another copy, oh my goodness, it's bad for Martin. But we know that they may not have another copy because Martin didn't get caught like that. Let me know what you think about this whole episode. I'm Mo.J. Thanks for watching. If you like the content on the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.